As we consider heat of passion defense, I want to discuss two other interesting points that surfaced in Girard. First, did you notice that the court referred to defendant and victim as Steve and Joyce? What did you think when you read that? We hardly ever see that in opinions. Indeed, in some jurisdictions, etiquette demands that defendants be called Mr. Girard or defendant, but not by his first name. What was the court trying to do here? Remember, opinions are never crafted by accident. Every word matters. I'm not sure, but perhaps it was an attempt to humanize both the parties, Steve and Joyce. Although that didn't help Steve legally, because we're back up to murder 2 with Steve. Second, I want to focus your attention on the witnesses that defendant called in support of his defense for heat of passion. Specifically, I want to look at one defense witness noted in our edited opinion. Psychiatrist Thomas Goldman testified that Joyce had a compulsive need to provoke jealousy so that she's always asking for love and at the same time destroying and undermining any chance that she really might have to establish any mature love with anybody. That's a quote. Where did Dr. Goldman learn that? Was Joyce his patient before she died, so he spoke about it? Had he interviewed her? The answer is a resounding no. All of this narrative, his opinion, is derived from Steve. What Steve told the doctor about Joyce. And although not in our opinion, there was also testimony by Steve that Joyce never got along with her father because he had impregnated her when she was 14. Look at the picture that's being painted. Why would this be allowed at trial? It seems really unfair. And why would Steve's view of Joyce be relevant at all? The answer lies in the fundamental premise of voluntary manslaughter's heat of passion. It's a defense predicated on the belief that the victim pushed the defendant to kill the victim. Here it's all about painting a picture of the victim, Joyce, from Steve's vantage point, and then suggesting to the jury, you too would have been moved to kill if you were faced with these circumstances and faced with this victim, faced with Joyce. That's why we call it a victim deserved it defense. That's why we call heat of passion defense a partial justification theory. And that's why Dr. Goldman got to testify. So here the court concluded that Steve should be found guilty of murder too. I want to look at that conclusion. Without any more investigation, without interviewing a judge or a jury, can you infer the legal reasoning behind that conviction, behind the judge saying it's murder too? I think we can say here that the court was saying there was an intent to kill, that was exhibited by stabbing Joyce 19 times, but that Steve's actions were not accompanied by sufficient premeditation, so no murder 1. The court also believed that as a matter of law, there wasn't adequate provocation to reduce the crime to manslaughter. Not enough to elevate it to murder 1, not enough to reduce it to manslaughter, so we're back at murder 2, based on an intent to kill that's not justified, not excused, not mitigated.